Punch Drunk Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Shine himself. Ladies and gentlemen, it's hot. It's hot, y'all. Damn, my skin is burning. Man. The weather's getting hot. Heat wave. Boxing is getting hot as well. In a recent interview, Gary Russell Jr. was talking about a potential matchup between him and Devin Haney. Gary Russell Jr. was going back and forth with Devin Haney's dad, Bill Haney. I would have loved to see Devin Haney actually talk, but probably so he's still young and he goes to sleep a little early. But at this point as a champion, I think that Devin Haney's dad, shouldn't really be speaking for him. I feel like Devin Haney's a champion already. He got a strap. He got a belt. No matter how he got it, right? But as a champion, you want to speak for yourself. If a man is calling you out, you got to step up like a man. I ain't going to be calling daddy. Speak to him. Speak to Gary. Speak to Mr. Gary. It felt like it's just two men talking and you know, that's supposed to be Devin Haney. It ain't supposed to be Bill Haney. And I understand. Father's out there and, you know, he's protecting his own and he's stepping in. But at this point, nah. That interview or that conversation had to be with Devin Haney, which he said he is the youngest promoter in the sport of boxing, and Gary Russell Jr. I ain't want to see no Bill Haney and Gary Russell Jr. going at it. Nah, I ain't see Gary Russell Sr. talking to Bill Haney. No. I gotta see Gary Russell Jr. and Devin Haney chop it up. Now, they was talking about that they wanted to make the fight. Gary Russell Jr. sent an offer, and he didn't get nothing in reply by Bill Haney. Bill Haney, technically, well, he said it to his face, you know, conversation-wise, that outpricing yourself is the form of ducking Devin Haney. He felt like Gary Russell just overpriced himself. He's calling Gary Russell Jr. saying that Devin Haney is ducking. Bill Haney saying, now you ducking because you know you overprice yourself, and that's another formal way of ducking. Now, it is another formal way of ducking. Now, me, personally, I don't like using the ducking word. I do not like using the ducking word because it goes beyond just fighters calling each other out, fighters wanting to fight each other. It has to be the promoters, has to be the managers, has to be the advisors, has to be the networks. Boxing is y'all already know, man. People that know the sport of boxing, it's like a secret society. It's just too many pieces. It's too many pieces. Now, that's a good fight, though. We all know. I said it in my channel countless of times. I said Gary Russell Jr. is probably the most avoided fighter of this era. Now, a lot of people is frustrated with Gary Russell Jr. Damn, he only fight once a year. 5 years, fought 5 times. What is going on in his career that got him like this? Matter of fact, I said Demetrius Andrade and Gary Russell Jr., their career really has been a letdown. They had so much potential, which I stated in my last video, that I thought by now, 2020, that these guys will be top 5 pound for pound in the sport of boxing. Now they're about to end up in the back end of their prime. What is going on? Who's running their careers? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you like this. With this fight, Devin Haney versus Gary Russell Jr., I think that's a wonderful fight for Devin Haney and Gary Russell Jr. Devin Haney is the name of the sport of boxing. Coming up as a champion. Gary Russell Jr. is a champion. They could be fighting for whoever belt. Nah, I got to be fighting for the Devin Haney belt. I think that's a good matchup. The WBC has given Devin Haney a voluntary bout. Eddie Hearn, remember last time we seen Eddie Hearn speaking to Gary Russell Jr. in one of his last, I think it was after the Jojo Diaz fight, so one of those fights, he was talking to Gary Russell Jr. I think that could happen in the zone. Gary Russell Jr., and of course, if you work with Al Heyman be shipping his fighters to work on the zone. Daniel Jacobs, Mikey Garcia, Sergey Derevyanchenko, Andy Ruiz. I think that fight could actually be made next. Is Devin Haney willing to take that type of risk? Y'all already know, man. He Gary Russell Jr. been calling everybody out. Leo Santa Cruz been disrespecting his daddy. He called out Javante Tank Davis, disrespecting Floyd Mayweather. Everybody. He's trying to get the fight. Please, somebody get this man a fight. Please, somebody get this man a fight. Devin Haney, I think it's a good fight. Voluntary bout. Gary Russell Jr., Devin Haney, make it happen. Call Al, and make this happen. I do believe that this is an easy fight to make because, of course, like I just said, Al Heyman, it's all right for his fighter to go fight in the zone. I mean, there is no matchup. Gary Russell Jr. was not in the schedule in the Showtime. He's not going to be in the schedule in the Fox PBC. So go to the zone and fight Devin Haney. Let's make this fight. I like it. I like it for both, and it's a good name, and it's good, and it's good to really see where Devin Haney is at. To really see where Devin Haney is at. I like the fight. Make it happen. Y'all already know this is Punch Drunk Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moonshine himself. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Get my updated videos. I love y'all. God bless, and on to the next.